Why am I getting ghosted? Why am I getting instantly rejected? Why isn't my resume getting attention? I can't seem to get any calls back for these interviews that I'm trying to get. What am I missing? What's wrong with me? If you're finding yourself asking these same questions, you're in the right place. Welcome to Hire Me Pls. I'm Gemma Lopez, your go-to career coach and recruiting expert. And in this podcast, I'm pulling back the curtain on what it really takes to succeed in today's job market. What worked in the past won't cut it anymore, so I'm bringing you myth-busting episodes. I'm debunking bad advice and giving you actionable steps to help move forward. So say goodbye to job frustration and hello to a career that makes you excited for Mondays. Whether you're feeling stuck or ready for a change, I'm here to help you navigate this job market with confidence and land a role you'll love. Hi, friends, and welcome back to the Hire Me Pls podcast. I'm Gemma Lopez, your favorite career coach and talent acquisition expert, and today we're going to have some fun. We are talking about some of the most common, and in my opinion, misleading, career advice floating around out there. I've heard it all, from the classic, apply to as many jobs as possible, it's a numbers game, to never quit a job without another one lined up. Some of this advice might have worked in the past, but in today's job market, not so much. We've all been there, right? Someone, maybe a well-meaning friend or colleague, gives you a piece of advice that just feels off. Today, I'm not here just to debunk bad advice, but to help you look within and trust your intuition when it comes to your career decisions. So let's dive into a few pieces of bad advice and why they can actually hold you back instead of pushing you forward. And of course, I'll share what you should do instead because I want you to be empowered, not stuck following outdated career myths. So let's start with a classic, just follow your passion. Now, passion is important, don't get me wrong, but following your passion without considering your skills, the job market, or how you can add value can lead to frustration. And here's why this advice is so problematic. It oversimplifies the truth. A fulfilling career isn't just about passion. It's about where your passion intersects with your skills and the needs of the market. It's like trying to build a house with just one tool. You need more than just passion to make it work. Instead of blindly following your passion, align it with your strengths and opportunities in the market. Ask yourself, what am I good at? What excites me? And where is there a need in the market that I can fill? And do I like doing this? This approach not only feels right, but also is more sustainable. So moving on to the next one, never quit your job without another job lined up. This advice usually comes from a place of caution, and while it's practical for some situations, it's not always the best move, especially if your current job is toxic or harmful to your well-being. Staying in a job that drains you mentally, emotionally, and even physically can lead to serious burnout. I've worked with lots of clients who've hung on to their jobs that made them absolutely miserable because they were terrified of not having something else lined up. But staying in a job too long that's super toxic, it can really chip away at your confidence, your self-esteem, and overall mental health. It's like being stuck in a bad breakup. By the time you get out, you're emotionally spent and carrying the weight of that experience onto your next relationship, or in this case, your next job. And I know this firsthand. I had a manager once who made me feel so self-conscious that I questioned everything. I felt like I was constantly walking on eggshells. I was terrified that I would do something that she wouldn't like. It got so bad that I would panic every time I thought I might displease her, just to avoid being called into her office, to be reprimanded and talked down to and yelled at. And honestly, after months of just this horrible, horrible experience that I have, that environment really crushed my confidence. So when I started my next job, and I finally left there, and I didn't work there very long. I worked there just under 2 years. I did not realize how much of that baggage I was still carrying. So fast forward, like, I don't know, maybe 6 or 8 months at that point. And I was sitting at a happy hour with my new manager and my new team when my new manager casually asked me why I hadn't accepted her Instagram follow request. And I was like, oh, I like to keep my personal life and my work life separate. And I thought that that was going to be the end of that conversation. But then she looked at me and she said, Gemma, you're the only one on the team who hasn't accepted it. When are you going to start trusting me? She could sense that I was still guarded, that I was still carrying the scars from my last job. That's what toxic environments do to you. They make you second guess everything, even when you are in a healthy, supportive environment. And that's the real problem. When you're burnt out and beaten down by a toxic workplace, it can take a really long time to recover. And if you don't give yourself space to heal, those negative feelings can follow you onto your job search and your interviews. You might start second guessing your skills, downplaying your accomplishments, or struggling to show up as your best self because that job just sucked the life out of you. And trust me, recruiters and hiring managers can sense that energy, just like my manager did. Now, I'm not telling you to just quit your job today. You hate it. It's awful, right? But I am saying that having a plan or a safety net is ideal. But if your job is harming your mental health, sometimes stepping away is the best decision. You need time to rebuild your confidence and rediscover what excites you about your work. And you don't want to carry that emotional baggage onto your next role. Your well-being is worth more than any paycheck. And you deserve to feel fulfilled and energized by what you do. And let's move on. Let's end with one of my personal pet peeves. When asked, tell me about yourself, flip it back on the interviewer. You know, instead of answering, ask them what they're looking for in the role, if the position's a backfill, or, just basically don't show them your cards, get them to tell you what they're looking for so that you can tailor your responses throughout the rest of the interview for that. And I swear, guys, this is some advice that I literally just heard and I could not deal. I was like, oh my God, this makes me cringe. And honestly, I hate it, hate it when candidates do this. So I get this tactic might work with some interviewers, but here's the thing. When I ask, tell me about yourself, I'm not trying to bait and switch you. I genuinely want to hear about you. This is your chance to showcase your experience, your personality, and how you communicate. I'm paying attention to how you handle an open-ended question, what details you chose to share, how you present yourself, and even how long you talk. Like, are you starting from, I was born in 19, are you starting there? And you might be laughing, but people actually do start there. Or do you start in high school? Or are you talking my ear off about what you did in college 30 years ago when literally we have a 30-minute interview scheduled and you take 15 minutes answering that first question? Like, those are the things that I'm looking for when I ask you a open-ended, ambiguous question. And it's just a huge opportunity for you to stand out. If you redirect the question back to me, it tells me you're dodging an opportunity to shine and you're taking control of a conversation and you didn't even answer my question. So honestly, it's annoying. And here's the real kicker that I want you to take away from this is that what works for one interviewer might not fly with another. So do not fall into the trap of thinking there's a one-size-fits-all approach to interviews. My advice? Be prepared to talk about yourself in a way that feels authentic and highlights your strengths. Think of it as your elevator pitch. Keep it clear, keep it concise, and focused on what's most relevant to the role. Sure, later on in the interview, ask the questions that you need to, but when they say, tell me about yourself, that's your moment to own it. All right. Well, that's it for today's episode. Not all advice is good advice. And the truth is, no one knows your career better than you. So next time you're given advice, pause and ask yourself if it truly aligns with who you are and where you want to go. Trust your intuition. It's one of your greatest career tools. And here's what I want you to do. The next time that someone gives you any type of advice, take a moment and ask yourself, does this resonate with me? And if it doesn't, trust your gut. So thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, share with your friends, and join me next time. As always, believe in yourself and your potential. You've got this. Hey friend, if you enjoyed the episode, connect with me on LinkedIn and let me know your biggest takeaway. And if you're ready to take things further and say hello to a career that makes you excited for Mondays, book a 30-minute free career strategy call with me on my website at mycoachgemma.com.